I just bought this BMW Z3 for £700 and I can't figure out why it was so cheap. Oh, and it's just decided to go up fine. Oh, fuck. Similar ones on the internet are going for anywhere from £2,000 to £3,000, but somehow I managed to pick this up for an absolute bargain. So in this video, I'm gonna try and figure out why this car was so cheap. Oh, I almost dislocated my shoulder. Tell you what my plans are with this car and see if I'm gonna keep it or not. Now, at first glance, this car looks and drives absolutely perfectly. I picked this up yesterday. There's no lights on the dash, there's no mechanical issues. I genuinely can't really figure out why this was so cheap. To be honest, these are, if not already, going to be a future classic. These cars are probably most famous for the cameo in James Bond GoldenEye when Pierce Brosnan drove almost this exact spec in the movie. And I remember when I was a kid, I actually had the toy car of this car. It was the exact same color, but it did have the tan interior. I think it was pretty much the same exact wheels, and I remember the missiles came out from the bonnet. But before we even get into what is potentially wrong with this car, how did I even come across it? Now, I'll be honest, I have probably been watching a little bit too much Matt Armstrong recently. I've been scrolling on Facebook, scrolling on Auto Trader to find basically a fixer-upper. And it was Thursday night, so 2 days ago. I'm lying in bed and I'm scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, generally looking for, you know, like a 3 Series BMW, you know, the E46 or E90, or I'm looking for an Audi A3, Audi A4, you know, a car that's relatively easy to get parts for, but is also gonna have high demand, so it's easy to sell. But I'm scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and I see this little BMW Z4 pop up, and then I look at the price and it says £700, and I'm just thinking about it, I'm thinking, that is a very, very cheap car for what it is. I immediately had to message the guy that was selling it. So I messaged him, it was probably about 12 midnight or 1 a.m. Messaged him, not expecting to hear anything back, but he was actually awake, so he messaged me back saying, yeah, still for sale. I asked him if there's any lights on the dashboard, any mechanical issues that I think I need to know about. And he said, nah, no lights on the dash, no mechanical issues, drives spot on. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking, surely there's got to be something wrong with it to be up for 700 quid. But I'm like, whatever, I'll come and view it tomorrow. Literally 12 hours later, midday, I say, I'm gonna come and see the car. It just so happens to be that the car is only literally half a mile away from me. So I turn up, take a look at the car, and I'm thinking, it's really not in bad nick at all. There are a couple of things which we'll get into in a second, but overall, it looks pretty solid. So I asked him to take it for a test drive. We went out, it was absolutely spot on. There's literally nothing wrong with the way that it drives. Nothing wrong with the engine, nothing wrong with the steering, no noises. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm still quite confused as to why it was so cheap. Now, before I even went to go and see the car, I did do a full HPI check with Car Vertical. It came back absolutely spotless. The mileage was correct, there's no damages being reported in the past, and there's also no reports of it being stolen. And then I took a look at all of the kind of logs of service. There have been a couple of MOTs failed, but nothing major. But as things stood, everything was spot on, so I was really excited to go and see the car. So then this is the 1.9 litre naturally aspirated 4-pot engine. To be honest, I think it suits the car. It's not heaps of power, I think it's about 140 horsepower. It sounds okay. It drives spot on. After 26 years, this is a 1998 car. So that's basically 1 year younger than me. From the quick glance over it that I had yesterday when I picked the car up, it does seem pretty spot on in terms of paint, but there is a little bit of rust kind of around the body in tiny, tiny little places, which I think need to be sorted out. For instance, we've got down here, you can see the kind of rust peeling away. So I think that needs sorted. There's a little bit of bubbling under the paintwork here. If we go over to the other side, the same thing down here. Some rusting and bubbling on the arch here. There is a little bit of something leaking from this side indicator, but I honestly don't know what that could be. I feel like it would probably come off relatively easy. The wheels, I mean, they're not in terrible condition for, what, 26 years old? But you can see there's little scuffs, little scrapes around everywhere. They have pretty much started to rust. This is probably the worst wheel. You can see it's missing the center cap. A few scrapes and whatnot around here. Let me see if there's any rust on this one. I mean, if you look at them, they do show little signs of age, but I think they look absolutely class for how old they are. Coming around the car here, absolutely nothing on the back of the car, no scrapes, no dinks, no bumps. This wheel, tiny little curves here and there, but that's easily sorted out. Honestly, I really can't figure out why this car was so cheap. When I was speaking to the guy that was selling it, he basically told me that he was buying a van the same day and he wanted to do out the garden, so he needed the money. He was getting shouted at for selling it for so cheap. So I think I've actually might have come across a proper bargain here. It's just started to rain, and I think the best thing to do is put the roof up. Done by hand, which I think is actually good, because a 26-year-old car with an electric roof is probably gonna fail. It's a pretty easy job to put the roof up. It's a bit of a novelty, it's quite fun, to be fair. I would much rather have a roof that you do with your hands, because there's a lot less stuff that could potentially go wrong. I mean, if you look at the interior, the seats aren't that bad, to be fair. You can see the carpets are a bit manky. This dash is certainly showing its age, and we are missing a stereo. So probably contributes to the price, but I don't think getting something to put in here and connect to the car is going to be too expensive. I mean, I've already had a look and it's literally going to be like 100 quid for like a Bluetooth one. If we look at the rest of the car, I love this steering wheel. I think the steering wheel is absolutely class. I love the gear selector, exactly the same as they've had for about 20 years. I remember my brother's old 3 Series had the same thing. And then you've got all of the dials, well, I say all of the dials, 3 dials here for the aircon and heating, which actually work really well, surprisingly. This car is on, I've literally just tipped over 86,600 miles. I'll just turn the engine on so you can see that there's not actually any lights on the dashboard. Look at that, all spot on. A strange little novelty thing here is these are your lights, and to put your lights on, you just pull that out like that, and there's your lights on. What I will say is a little bit strange is the wing mirrors. So the left one's fine, you just look over there, you can see in your rear left. But the only issue is this mirror is so close to your face, right? When you look at it, you almost have to go cross-eyed to actually see out of it. It's only something I think you could understand once you drive the car or you sit in it and have a look, but yeah, that's something strange. The gearbox is spot on, no issues there. The pedals, spot on, that's how it sounds. I think it sounds pretty good. I do think the exhaust might need a little bit of looking at. Oh yes, one thing I should probably say, this left window goes up without any trouble. This window, oh, and it's just decided to go up fine. Oh, I mean, I think something does need sorted out, because if I'll press that again. See, I'm pressing it now and it's, oh, I mean, it goes down, but sometimes it needs some help. So this needs looking at. But apart from that, it's pretty spot on for 700 quid. I guess we'll go for a quick drive and I'll tell you exactly what my plans are for this car. I'll be honest, I absolutely love driving this car. It's just a nice little time capsule. Like, I feel like I'm literally driving around in the 90s, especially last night. I went out in the dark just to see what it's like to drive at night, because it's got yellow headlights and it was so nostalgic. I felt like I was kind of like, I don't know, there's something very cozy about, you know, the old yellow headlights from the 90s and early noughties. And I'm just absolutely loving driving this car around. First of all, because I know how cheap I bought the car for. Like a little 2-seater roadster sports car for 700 quid, which, I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it shifts. Meow. It shifts, it's got 5 gears. It would be nice if it had a 6, because when I've been on like the motorway, it kind of sits at about 7,000 RPM at 70 miles an hour. I mean, that's foot to the floor right now. Go on, go on. Yeah. And that's 60. 60 in about 2 minutes. But I don't care, I'm having loads of fun driving it. There's something about having a little manual 1.9 litre 2-seater sports car, which you can also take the roof off of, I don't know, it's just so fun. Like, you don't really need to go that fast to have fun. I've obviously got my Jaguar F-Type V6S, and that is a load of fun. It's got like 375 brake horsepower, which is way more than you'll ever need. Hold on, do I hear something? Wait. I don't know if it's just like the air outside of the car making a noise. Yeah, I think it's just the air outside of the car. Yeah, it's just the air. I genuinely think if I decided to go and put this car on Auto Trader or Facebook Marketplace again, I could sell it and make 500, 700 quid profit. I could probably sell it for double what I bought it, quite easily actually. But that's not quite what I'm gonna do. Go! Come on! That was a terrible gear change, that's 60. What was that? 20 seconds? So what are my plans with this car then? So I've been doing YouTube now since basically last August, September, so 6-7 months. I've really enjoyed making content on my Jaguar F-Type and the Aston Martin, and I'm still probably going to make content on those cars. But I want something which is going to be more of a journey. Something that's going to be a bit of a challenge as well, because there's only so much content you can make with a Jaguar F-Type. And I've always wanted to have a kind of project car, something to dabble with, get my hands a little bit more dirty. I'm a sales manager for a marketing agency. I work in the office 5 days a week, actually 4 days a week. Sorry, I work a 4-day work week. But I work an office job. I mean, look at these hands. Do they look like they are dirty hands to you? I want something that I can actually get stuck in with and get my hands dirty. I didn't want to do anything mechanical. I just wanted to do cosmetic first because I didn't want to throw myself too far in the deep end, if you know what I mean. So when I found this car, I thought it was perfect because it's got no lights on the dash, it's got no mechanical issues, it needs a little bit of cosmetic love. And of recent years, I've really started to fall in love with older and more retro cars. So when I came across this car, I was like, it's an absolute no-brainer for me. So what I'm gonna do, basically try and restore this car, all of the faults that the car has, the dodgy window, the missing stereo, the rusty arches, the rusty wheels. If there is any kind of little mechanical things that do need doing, then I'm gonna try and do them. Basically, as someone who loves cars, I absolutely adore cars, and I know a decent bit about cars, but I'm not a mechanic. I want to take basically a project car and go from knowing absolutely nothing to trying to learn about how to actually go about fixing them without going to a mechanic or whatever. So this journey is going to be an interesting one. Literally an absolute rookie at fixing cars, building cars, is going to try and restore this BMW Z3 for my glory. By the time I'm done restoring the car, I think it could probably fetch anywhere from £2,000 to £3,000, just like the other cars are. Just a little caveat, by the way, I was looking at those other Z3s, which are selling for £2,000 to £3,000, some even more than £3,000. They all have issues with them. I can see they've all got rust, they've all got little dents, and they're still going for that money. So I genuinely think if I was patient enough and I put this car in the marketplace, I could probably make a decent bit of profit. But that's not what I want to do with this car. I want to, oh shit, I've just accidentally gone to the barracks. Yeah, I am at the military. Oh, a little bit of traction there at 38 miles an hour. Since I've driven this car in the past 24 hours, I'm looking at my Jag and I'm thinking, ooh, a little bit of traction again there at 50 miles an hour? Surely not. I did almost clutch kick it like, but driving this car in the past 24 hours is making me, I just got a massive raindrop in my head there. Right, I need to hurry this up. I'm looking at my Jag and I'm thinking, I'm spending a lot of money per month on that Jag, close to 700 quid a month, and I could just literally sell it, pull all my money out and drive this around for basically nothing. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's find out If you want to follow the journey, make sure to subscribe. If you have any recommendations on what I should look out for with this car, please let me know in the comments below. Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. What?